Hey everyone, you ever stare at a spreadsheet just packed with numbers and wonder, what on earth is this data trying to tell me? Well, if you have, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to unlock a really powerful technique, how to choose the right probability distribution so you can find those hidden patterns in your data. Honestly, it's the key to making much smarter predictions. Let's dive in.
See, every single data set, whether it's website clicks or, customer heights, it has a story. It has its own unique rhythm, its own behavior. But to really understand that story, we need the right language. So the core problem we're all trying to solve is this. How do we translate all those raw numbers into some kind of meaningful insight? And the answer is a probability distribution. The best way to think about it is like a blueprint. Yeah, a blueprint for your data. It's a mathematical shape that helps describe the pattern you're seeing. It's how we model all the uncertainty and the variability, giving us a solid foundation we can use to make real predictions and smart decisions.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. Think of it like a simple decision tree. We're going to start with one big fundamental question, and that question will lead us down one of three different paths. We're either dealing with categories, counts, or measurements. And then at the end, we'll wrap it all up into a super practical toolkit for you.
Okay, so let's get right to it. The very first and honestly the most crucial question you have to ask yourself before you do anything else is, what is the fundamental nature of my data? Seriously, the answer to this one question is going to guide us through this entire process.
And it turns out pretty much all data falls into one of three big families. Is your data categorical? Like blood types or answers to a survey. Or maybe it's discrete numeric, where you're counting whole things, like how many people visited your website. Or finally, is it continuous numeric, where you're measuring something that can have decimals, like a person's height. These are our three main branches. And for any numeric data, this distinction boils down to one simple idea. Are you counting or are you measuring? If you're counting individual whole things, 1, 2, 3, that's discrete. But if you're measuring something on a scale that can take on any value, like time or weight or distance, well, that's continuous. Getting this right is absolutely the key. All right, you ready? Let's head down our first path, which is probably the most straightforward one, the world of categories. This is for any data that fits neatly into distinct boxes or labels, like yes or no, or red, green, and blue. Now, when you're dealing with categories, your choice is actually pretty simple. Are there only two possible outcomes? Think of a single coin flip, heads or tails, or maybe a simple pass/fail test. That's a job for the Bernoulli distribution. But what if you're counting results across three or more categories, like tallying votes for a few different candidates? Well, then you're going to want the multinomial distribution. Simple as that. Okay, let's move on to our second path. This is the world of counting, which is for our discrete numeric data. We're talking about things like counting customer arrivals, or defective products, or even the number of typos on a page. Now, once you know you're counting, there is one single crucial question that will tell you almost everything you need to know. You just have to ask yourself this. Is there a fixed, predetermined number of trials? Is there a hard limit on how many things I'm checking? If you can answer a big, confident yes to that question, then congratulations, you're in the world of the binomial distribution. This model is absolutely perfect for counting the number of successes, whatever that means for you, out of a set fixed number of attempts. A classic example is something like quality control, right? Imagine you're inspecting a batch of exactly 100 items from a factory line. Because your number of trials is fixed, it's 100, and you're counting the number of defects, this is a textbook case for the binomial distribution. But what if the answer to our big question is no? What if there isn't a fixed number of trials? Well, in that case, you're probably dealing with a Poisson distribution. We use this for counting events that just happen within a certain interval of time or space where there's really no theoretical upper limit. Think about a call center. You're counting how many calls arrive in 1 hour. There's no fixed number of trials, right? I mean, in theory, you could get 0 calls or you could get 1,000. You're simply counting how many times something happens within an interval. That is the perfect job for the Poisson distribution. Okay, we're on to our third and final path, the world of measuring. This is for all our continuous data, things like time, weight, temperature, distance. Now, this path can feel a bit more complex, but we can definitely simplify it. When you're measuring something, you can usually narrow down your choices by asking two main questions. First, just look at your data.
Does it kind of cluster around an average in that classic symmetric bell-shaped curve? And second, are you specifically measuring the time until something happens?
So if your data is bell-shaped, then you've likely found the most famous distribution of them all, the normal distribution, sometimes called the Gaussian. So many things in the world follow this pattern. Human heights, test scores, even tiny errors in scientific measurements. They all tend to bunch up symmetrically right around a central average.
Now, here's a really cool moment where two of our paths actually connect. Remember the Poisson distribution, the one that counts how many events happen in an hour? Well, the exponential distribution is its cousin. It measures the waiting time between those very same events. They're like two sides of the same coin.
So if your goal is to model the time until the next event happens, like say the lifespan of a light bulb or the time until the next customer walks in the door, the exponential distribution is the tool for the job. It's all about modeling that waiting time for a single occurrence.
Whew, okay, we have journeyed through all three main paths, from categories to counts to measures. So now let's pull it all together into a simple, practical toolkit that sums up all those key decision points for you.
So here it is, your final checklist. It all starts with that first big question. Are you counting or measuring? If you're counting, the next question is about trials. A fixed number? That points you to binomial. Events in an interval? That's Poisson. And if you're measuring, look for that symmetric, bell-shaped curve for the normal distribution. Or if your goal is to measure the time until the very next event, exponential is your answer. This checklist should guide you straight to the right model every time.
So that's really it. You now have the framework to look at pretty much any dataset and identify its underlying pattern, to give it a name. So the only question left for you is this. Now that you can see the blueprint, what are you going to predict?